start the show! From Michael Bay to Marvel, UK, everyone on in between. Breaking news and toy reviews, every robot fans wet dream. Grab a brew and join the crew, become part of our scene. Bring your own, let's drink our own, make sure you're at least 18. Welcome to the show, the party and let's blow. Friday nights, let's go, Transformers the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to Transformers the Show. I forgot where my camera was. It's there. Welcome to your Friday night. So tonight we've got loads going on. It's going to be an exciting night because we're going to count down our top 5 Transformers with weird alt modes. Plus we're going to have a discussion which is tonight going to be about how we got into collecting. Oh, really had to stretch into the memory there to remember what that was. So yeah, loads coming up, loads of news as well, discussions, pickups, and a whole lot more. But as always, we start off with the news.
I talk some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
News.
Yeah, I don't think there's lots, but let's find out. Chinese company Aldi have revealed the first images of their Transformers Alpha Action Elite S, Optimus Prime, Starscream, and Shattered Glass Soundwave via their Weibo account. Let's have a look at them here in the pictures. There's OP. He's got a neck on him.
Yes.
Stretching.
Cross.
Look at it.
Look at that. There it is. That's what we all came for.
That's Prime.
Comes with lots of different hands. And
I bet he
bits.
does some minks.
I feel like you took that in another direction. Yeah. Crotch dust. Standard, Mick. Standard.
What?
Yeah, there he is in box. There's the Shattered Glass Soundwave. I
just want to hear
this-
Kung Fu fighting in the background.
Yeah. Silly. Anyway, this is a subline of the previous Alpha Action Elite blind boxes. They're now packaged as non-blind boxes with new deco and more accessories. And apparently they have they now have an additional upward joint of the head so they can look up. And these 3 figures are about 13 centimeters tall each. So get the tape measure out, Pete. What are we comparing that to?
That's a good solid 5 inches above average.
And what about the Transformer? But
Hey. I think they look quality though, don't they? They do look like a quality.
They do look good. Yeah, they do look good.
And they're less of a model construction, than Blockies and YOLO Park, aren't they? They come assembled.
I think that's the question, isn't it? How they compare to something like YOLO Park? Because to me, that would seem like a direct rival, considering it's pretty much the same thing.
Young Paul has a set, don't he? Doesn't he?
I have 2 of these. 2. They come built. You can actually get the packaging and just pull it apart, and you can just see which character it is. So even though they're kind of in blind boxes, it kind of defeats the point of it. But,
ruins it.
Yeah, so if you like
Ruins it for
spoiling your
everyone.
own surprise, get Audley. But yeah, they're all right. They're nice.
They're all right. There it is.
Hi, Audley.
we won't hold our breath for the sponsorship deal on that one.
They're all right.
Apparently. Anyway. Right, let's carry on. Shall we? Let's. This is coming from Omega the Real on X. These are in-hand images of the new Earthspark Deluxe Soundwave. So, yeah, it's an interesting design for Soundwave, a bit of a mashup of kind of his previous designs, including Transformers Prime, a little bit of that in there as well. A little bit of Transformers Cybertron, if you ask me. And I actually think it looks quite cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is getting like a widespread release here in the UK or not, or if this is something you should go and order from your favourite online retailers, particularly the independent ones. But I like it. I think if I saw this
It's just a little bit like they got Soundwave and went, oh no, make him really cool now. Like really cool so that the kids love him. That's what it
too
feels
cool.
Like. Yeah, make him edgier. Give him some edge. Make him Sigma Riz.
Sigma-Riz. Oh, we just are so down with the youth of today. I'm so glad.
Ohio.
In Ohio, indeed. John Pork. Right, moving on. That's a completely different thing. Premium Collectibles Studio Facebook have revealed their official reveal of the massive Premium Collectibles Studio Museum scale Unicron statue. This going up for pre-orders yesterday. It measures an immense 39 inches wide, and I think later on we actually see how many inches high and everything. I think the measurements are.
He's got
so
the tape measure out. Pete, how's that compare?
There you go.
Cat's Lair-esque, or was it smaller?
It's like 3.5 foot long. That's
beautiful.
It's quite substantial. Cat's Lair, for context, is 53.
Oh, okay.
So it's not Cat's Lair big.
And that's fudging massive. 21.5.
24.5 inches tall and 18 inches deep.
No, it's mental.
18 inches deep. Imagine that. And it's just him sat in a chair, looking really pissed off.
A standard IKEA desk, all right, is 24 inches deep.
It's the new scale.
Yeah. If I was an IKEA desk, how would I scale up against it? Yeah, it's ginormous.
It's good because it actually shows you like it's what your wife will look like if you bought one. Same pose and facial expression. It was like, wait, what?
Gripping the arms of the sofa as you explain the cost and the size.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it'll weigh. That's got to be a couple of kilos. Assuming it's.
I mean, you'd imagine it's not going to be light. You don't want to drop it on your foot.
No. Guzzy's saying it's $3,500.
Is that all?
Tariffs, about 2.8 million.
A bargain, I believe. At half the no, it still wouldn't be a bargain.
Ed said, "Remember
you
when
can have
Unicorn sat in a big chair?"
Yeah, exactly. We all remember that famous scene.
That was a great episode where they sat down for a bit. They just
I love
got
this
tired.
photo. I love this photo because you get to see what it would look like when your house is on fire and burning down, so your wife can get the insurance money.
You can't move the unicorn because it's too heavy.
It's back in the house. It's a free-man job.
Come on, kids.
To be fair, though, I mean, the early bird price is only 170. So you're going to drop $3,500, and the best they will do for you is $175 off.
Yeah,
I don't know. Tariffs, am I right? Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Here is Takara's MPG-17 Optimus Prime prototype and realized model RMZ 009 Iron Kong from Zoid on display at T-Spark at a place in Japan. Zoids!
Ooh.
I can feel your enthusiasm. It's pouring through the screen there.
A bit kit bashed. I guess it is a bit kit bashed.
Zoid's a bit kit bashed. What could you possibly mean? Anyway, there you go.
On the back of Prime's body.
It's his weaponry. You can store all of his weaponry: the axe, the gun, the whatever else he comes with. I can't remember. We showed it last week. It all can plug into the back of his back if you wish it to store there.
Okay. I do not wish for that.
You were about to kick off. I could see it on your face.
Fucking mental.
What the hell is this? Yeah, and then that was like all the things within the stand. If you pause this, if you're watching it again, probably not live, but if you pause it, I'm sure you can see other wonderful new Hasbro products and Takara products. Basically the same thing. Right, let's move on to the compendium. So, do you remember we talked about this Transformers compendium set, which is going to be apparently all of the US and UK comic books, basically everything, all together in a compendium. and it was on Kickstarter, so they were looking for backing for this. I think the target was $40,000. They passed that in 2 minutes. When I was looking at this last night, they'd passed $2 million, which is bonkers. So I think it's fair to say it's funded. Going to go out on a limb. But there's still a bit of confusion about what you actually get from it. So I have a write-up. Carrying it. So according to this, part 1 of the compendium will be the first 46 stories of the main series from the US Marvel stories and the 4-issue Headmasters Mini, while the second volume, contents is unknown, but you'd assume it's the remaining 34 US stories, and some other stuff to match the kind of 50 issues worth from the first compendium. These 2 volumes will apparently be normal retail releases. So there's one. The different covers. But you also get editions of 8 individual compendium volumes, hardcover volumes of all the US stories. 2 more volumes will reprint the UK stories. Another 4 volumes are a Kickstarter exclusive to All R1 Definitive Edition 4-volume set that contains all of the US and UK stories arranged together into a single narrative, so that you could just read it all the way through the US and UK stuff. But there's some confusion about how that will work, because obviously it didn't tally up in reality. And I think I read that Hatchet tried to tally it up. It didn't work. It didn't fit well. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I wonder if anybody have any of you gentlemen within our group backed this. I'm guessing Jamie will have done, because this is like right up Jamie's alley. Anybody else?
I've got the Hatchet. I've got the Hatchet book.
I think you got the Hatchets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. Don't really know what to do with these if I get the compendiums.
Sell them. It would be my suggestion. There's loads of stuff though online, and if you go to cybertron.com, there's a write-up. Somebody's done a write-up that's basically tried to explain what you might get, but also what some of the issues might be that they'll have to get around with the differences in the continuity between the US and the UK versions of the comic, if you care that much. But again, we've not actually had confirmation, so we don't know. We don't know. And here's the shocking thing, lads. That's all the mainline news.
Yeah, but
Wow.
Shall we do some third party?
Go on then. Let's do it. Let's do some bloody third party right now.
Battle this.
It's heavy metal cruncher time as Optimus Prime goes toe to toe with combat Megatron. Prime is one tough dude underneath his hood. He's a transformer missile fun phenomenon. Combat Megatron is combat armed. His mighty mega missiles are slamming. He can mad out more for use mega force, but coming Optimus is still standing.
everyone's that bothered about Mainline. They're talking about how much they can squat and bench press in the chat.
Oh, it's all the gym bunnies. Isn't that? I wonder if that's more linked to the Unicron. could you lift Unicron on your own?
Because it weighs
Anyway.
200 kilos.
I'll pop that in the news there, and we'll get on with some third-party news, and not just because we have to. Apparently, this is Mech Toys small-scale 22-centimeter Planet Formers Primus, which apparently is a scaled-down knockoff type version of the Studio Cell one, although other people may disagree. But anyway, here it is. There it is. 22 centimeters tall, little Primus.
Cool. I like it.
In kind of Ultra Magnus-y colours. I suppose Optimus Prime-y, but it looks more Ultra Magnus-y to me.
As long
Is
as
this
it's
like a
not
Legend
damaged.
scale one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Very
Yeah.
small.
Yeah, just a small one.
Yeah. Okay.
Just be nice to have a little ball that you can just take
Are we
about
still
with
talking
you.
about? Are we still talking about the toy?
What's that you got?
Ball chat.
A little ball.
Ball chat. The new section coming up later.
Boys on
Send your
ball.
photo. No, don't send your photos in. Please, God, don't.
Social ball corner.
Oh, lovely. Anyway, there it is. Yeah,
It's a no from me. No.
yeah.
No.
I'm not. I wouldn't rush out to buy this. I actually don't like the fact they made it kind of red and blue, kind of inside.
Mm.
I don't.
Yeah.
Reminds me of, Twin Twist, the knockoff, the KO Twin Twist.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. There you go, 17 centimeters wide and 22 centimeters tall.
Burn it with fire.
Brilliant. That's
what
your answer
people
to everything, Pete.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've only got half a house because I didn't like the walls.
There it is in globe mode, apparently. And it's 15 centimeters by 11 centimeters. And that takes us on to Kang toys, because we've not seen some Kang toys for at least a week. So it only makes sense that we have some more. This is Kang toys, Transage, Pterosaur, Brontosaurus, Emperex, and Stegsauro. Stegsauro, which is their Chug scale. Swoop, Sludge, Grimlock, and Snarl. Any immediate thoughts? We kind of seen these before, haven't we? Individually,
Yeah.
when they were like revealed. I don't know. My opinion on them has changed much. They're not.
Imagine in your house, you're a ninja, and you open up a weapons cabinet to pick your weapons of choice. I imagine it's just full of Kang's toys. Like, genuinely.
They look like they could transform into some kind of bladed weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they can.
Not my dinosaurs, I'll tell you that for nothing.
And there they are in dino mode.
Hmm.
The dino modes look a bit better, but they're still very stylized. And yeah, I won't be picking these up. I will be giving these a miss.
They do look Power Ranger-y a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a selling point for me, but I think they do look a bit.
Nor me. Yeah.
Go away.
There'll be a war against Power Rangers the show. Imagine if there's 4 other middle-aged men who do Power Rangers the show.
Oh, they'd be slightly younger than we are, I think. Probably.
Cross-show banter.
And they'll know karate and shit.
I think they do.
They can actually merge.
Just throw the little brothers on the sofa.
Yeah, Power Rangers is rubbish. Right, X-Transbot. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Power Rangers fans. Anyway, X-Transbot Toys and BotCon official Agabus. Exclusive MX22 SG Spectre General, a masterpiece scale, Delta Magnus. Credit to Weibo user Mangmotion for these photos. We've seen some bits of this before. It's a Delta Magnus that you can turn into the shattered glass one. So I'm assuming that's an X-Transbot's Ultra Magnus there. Standard style, except with half his head missing. Revealing the white prime underneath just for John. Yeah, you know. It's
Just the tip for you, John. Just the tip.
just easing it in. You just have to say he's got a clean back, apparently. Skull head. Not
I'll have a
bad.
clean back when John's finished with it. It's a rude show tonight.
You can't say it in the next sentence.
Somebody's being very. Oh no. Anyway, you can open its mouth up like that for even more fun. And it's just me. You look at that, right? You look at that, and the wheels are off the ground, aren't they? Or is that an optical illusion? It looks like because it's plugged in, the back
Yeah,
wheels
looks
aren't
like
actually
spinning it up.
touching it.
I mean, it's optional. You don't have to buy this. It doesn't look good either. So
Wait, what? Cancel the pre-order.
Transbots. The transformation could have gone horrifically wrong, and they've just tried to smash it back together, which is why the wheels are on the floor.
yeah,
They lost the
do.
will to live at that point.
Yeah.
you designed it. Mm.
It was fine when it was out of the box. It's just when I started using it.
kind of hate this thing. So the creator. Faces, lots of faces, and I presume that's the packaging, the back of the packaging, and yeah, and then information there, a write-up on this character that is definitely not Hasbro's Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus. Definitely not, without share.
Spectre General, they were the band when they played on.
They were
1986 movie.
Correct. Anyway, so that's that. Some more thrilling third-party news. Here's Galaxy Toys Mini 01EX Micro Scale Metallic Optimus Prime. Now, they don't call it Optimus Prime, obviously. They just call it Mini 01EX. These photos are from Weibo user 23McG, whose name you can see down in the corner. And this is really small. A really small metallic finished Optimus Prime. And they have already done a non-metallic finish, which you'll see in a comparison photo in mere moments. But go on.
The metallic version is better than the matte version, I think.
Metallic on the left, matte version on the right.
Pete, do you want to do a gym section? It's turning into a gym chat now. What? Got any pictures of some whey protein?
What was the line from Fight? What was the line from Fight Club about people who go to the gym? No, not that one. It was something. There's a bit where they're talking about like, they look at a poster or something, and it's of a guy with like a six-pack, advertising Calvin Klein or something, and now I think it's Tyler Durden says self-improvement is masturbation. So that's what you're all doing when you go to the gym, lads. Have fun. And some of you literally, because I know you filthy animals.
It's fine. You can keep talking about the gym. It's fine. Pete loves the gym as well, and gyms are healthy. It's good.
He does. Pete absolutely loves the gym. Anyway, there's vehicle modes, and that's how big it is for comparison.
I mean, what is that?
So it's small. It's a memory stick, isn't it?
It's a memory.
Or is it one of those things where was it one of those things where you blow bubbles? You take it out.
Rape alarm.
What? Oh no!
That
moment when you're praying, the internet cut out.
That's what they're called. That's what they're called.
Is it? Is that the company name, Alan? For
back to gym chat. Right, back to the gym.
Oh dear. Anyway, there's the guns and stuff and bits you get. And that takes us on to this is New Age Toys, isn't it? Lincoln. So some people are getting this in hand. These photos were, you'll be surprised to know, from Uranus, as you can see at the top of the screen there. So I'm sure we've seen early release photos of this. Anybody more likely to pick this up?
It's a nice alt mode.
Yeah.
I've never liked his robot mode. Like, even then, just in general, his robot mode just annoys me.
Yeah. It's Trailbreaker. That's the thing. I'm sure there are Trailbreaker fans, but he's a bit...
He didn't do anything, does he? He's just...
No. He has a shield.
Yeah.
Bad things happen to him on IDW. Anything else?
Great alt mode.
The alt mode is pretty good, I suppose. On this toy.
But I mean, based on mine.
Let's talk about Uranus. So I like how Uranus has done his like the name. It almost looks like a brand in itself.
Yeah.
And I've seen pictures before by Uranus, and I thought that picture of Uranus actually looks like it's a made by Uranus. It's amazing.
Well, that's thrilling.
I might cut that segment out and post it as a separate video. Paul's thoughts on Uranus.
Make it a short.
Yeah.
Go viral with Uranus. Anyway, you'll never believe this, but that's all the news this week. 24 minutes in.
Done. Well, should we do some pickups then? Because that technically is next.
We now return to the Transformers.
Do I go first?
I don't know how I feel about that view.
I'm not sure about either. I'm not sure about this one either. I was mucking about. So I did a Thursday live stream. It was really good fun, actually. Just chatting through blockings, really. So I got this, fucking hell, which is STC, ST Commander, which is a Optimus Prime. I haven't only got him the other day, and I've literally just resting his intercontinental ballistic missile there. That's that big thing. Some people say that the shape of this looks a little bit like a big missile, and it does. And it comes apart, and you put it on the back of Optimus to form like his super mode. Proper heavy. Yeah, you probably can't tell how heavy it is by me doing that. But hopefully that gives you the illusion of weight.
The way I'm curling it.
Yeah, because it's so I'm trying to the illusion of something that's heavy. You can see he's even buckling under his own weight. I think that's more how I've transformed it. I haven't put him into robot mode yet. I might do that later on. I also got one other thing which was quite cool, which is Studio Theory's 86 Prime. There he is. So transformed him. I think he's one of the best alternate versions of Optimus Prime. I think in that mode he is pretty much perfect, including matching up with some third-party companies. I liked the transformation. It was, I thought it was quite good fun. Some bits were a little bit odd, but yeah, I enjoyed that. His things are a bit flappy. These bits, I thought, they sort of all over the place, where other Primes there a little bit more rigid, not as floppy. I love his legs. The transformation on his legs, the way it all clips together, the way the wheels come out. I thought that was engineering bliss. Great legs. As always, I said it when I first saw the pictures, in his alt mode, in his robot mode from the front, he looks really good. It's just his fucking backpack, isn't it? I can't get over it, how big his backpack is, especially when you compare him to Earthrise Prime, who's got such a smaller backpack. And that's everything. So great transform work. Really liked him. Great alt mode. Is he worth £100, £90? Not sure. Not sure. That's it for my pickups, I think. Let's exit solo layout. Pete, let's go with you next.
We don't use the word fucking anymore. We use fudging.
Oh, sorry. I've got about 10 fudgings to replace them.
Sorry, for fudge's sake. I only got 2 this week, and all very He-Man Master of the Universe centric. So, first one was Web Store. He comes with his little grappling hook. These are the cartoon versions of the Origins line. He comes with a cat as well. Not sure what his name is. I've called him Pedro. Pedro the Pussycat. And also got Trapjaw that I haven't opened yet. So pretty close to getting the first couple of waves now. Ironically, I haven't got He-Man or Skeletor. So I've got everybody but them. Funny story, right? So I'm 23 in a couple of weeks. And I'm sorry, what? 43 in a couple of weeks. And there's a purchase embargo that's been placed on me. And I was asked what I was happy not purchasing. And Master of the Universe was in a list. So my considerably significant other knows what to... has got a target list, which I completely ignored. And then bought these. Then got told off.
Good.
Then had to return what I bought. And had to pay more for the same 2 characters that Emma had as punishment. So these were technically my birthday present. However, I paid for them, and I paid more than what I paid for in the versions that I found. So lesson learned out there, kids. Stick to the embargoes.
That sounds like just desserts, if you ask me.
Bloody justice.
Bloody just Sunday.
Ugh.
Bloody Sunday. Right.
Right. I'm gonna do this. Sorry, just so we can all see Paul. Right. I can't remember if I showed this last week, but I got Solus Prime. Finally got her out. Leica. There's issues with her though. There's bits that pop off far too easily on her. Vehicle mode is just nothing really, and it's a pain in the backside to tab in. It's it's like they got halfway along the vehicle mode and they just thought that'll do. We'll just leave the legs and everything else just there. So yeah, not the best vehicle mode, but I do like her. I like her still alongside Megatronus, so she's pretty cool. I would still recommend picking it up, even though there are issues with it. I think it's worth it for the robot mode.
Yeah,
and if you get in the primes, you kind of have to, don't you? I mean, not legally. And then I got the aerial bots. My pre-order for them came in, and there they are. And there's Air Raid, who was my first ever aerial bot when I was little. So immediately, I love him. Also, it helps that his robot mode is the best of the two. Jet mode looks lovely from above. Underneath it is a robot and some penguin feet, which if I thought on, I'd have had ready to show you the penguin feet. But yeah, there's penguin feet. And Slingshot, my least favourite member of the aerial bot team, just because he was such an arse in the G1 cartoon, at least at the start. He's actually more posable. He's got more articulation in his arms, for example, but I don't think his legs are as good. So his robot mode, good, but not as good as Air Raid's. And then I will say the jet mode is better. It's a much cleaner jet mode than Air Raid has, and I actually really like the jet mode. I also like the fact they've given them both two weapons. I like dual wielding, but I also like the symmetry when they're in jet mode. Do you remember when the Power of the Primes did Darkwing and Dreadwind? Well, Darkwing got two guns, but Dreadwind didn't. And he got the one. It's like, which side do you put it under his wing? That's ridiculous. You need two weapons. I actually bought a second Dreadwind just so I could have two of the guns. So, true story. So, yeah. It's,
I'll pick story. I'll pick with my story.
But it's a separate. That's going to pull in the views, that one.
All's Uranus. Stories.
That's a different clip. Right. Anyway, yeah. My right. I'm just going to say, I would recommend. I'd recommend both of the aerial bots, especially if you're a fan of the G1 aerial bots. They were, or they are, really good. Just like Paul's armpit. So yes, if you haven't got them and you like the G1 aerial bots, get them. And also, oh, well, there we go. I'm getting sick. Yeah, get them. They're good. And also, the aerial bots are not the most boring combiner team, and I will fight you if you say they are. Talking to you, John.
They're a cool combiner team. I did get one thing. I won't go through all of them. I know it fucking makes people angry. But blockies, I did get to Wave 3 Shining, and I assembled them the other night. My favourite one was Ramjet. So you can go with Dirge. I don't think, are you a Shiny? I can't remember. Depends how hard you flick it. But yeah, cool. Got Ramjet. So two of the cone heads need to pick up the.
We should talk about blockies with complete impunity, Paul.
Be proud.
Like blockies. Yes. Lots of people like blockies. If you don't like blockies, great. Just, make a cup of tea while we're chatting about them.
And it's probably fair to remind people that the three of us buy our blockies. So these are not. We're not in a relationship with blockies where we're being gifted them. We are making the active decision to go and buy them. So it's our choice whether we like them or not. We don't have to please the man. And we like them because they're wicked.
Yeah, unlike Uranus, which sponsors us. That's why we always show those that we read. So it's rings and roundabouts. Rings and roundabouts. Let's have some foreplay.
Lynn, these are sex people.
What do you mean?
They're sex swappers. Lynn, this is DEFCON 1. Look. Look. Don't make the same noise as them. Don't think you want to join in.
Cool. I came up with this idea. So we've probably done it before, but it's weird alt mode. So feel free to get involved in the chat. So your favorite Transformer, which has a slightly bizarre, slightly cool, or slightly weird, or just plain out odd as an alt mode. Pete, would you mind if we start with yourself and you can tell us what your favoritist Transformer, which has got an odd alt mode, is? I've got my one here. He's transformed. I'll show you him in a second.
I'm just sharing my screen, Paul, if you may.
Yeah, cool.
I don't actually.
There we go.
I don't actually own this because part of the mantra of the Willis household is nothing Beast Wars comes in unless it's a gift. Nothing is bought through choice.
It's like the opposite of Animal Farm. 4 legs bad, 2 legs good.
So I've gone with Raised Beast because look, we know Beast Wars saved Transformers. It brought us back into the limelight in the 90s, and you could argue is the reason why it's got such a strong foundation as a franchise now. However, no one will ever be able to explain to me what the thinking was behind making one of them Pumbaa from The Lion King. And that's where we are. All right. It's a warthog. Why, when they were there? I'm sure the designers at the time were like, what can we get away with? We've got a badger. We've got a warthog. I mean, we've probably got a sparrow.
Wait, is there a badger?
Yeah. I'm sure there was.
Is there?
Wasn't there like a honey badger?
Oh, yeah. All right, go on. I thought you meant like a traditional UK badger. I'd have bought that. Just black and white.
A stoat.
So
A stoat. Stoat Wars. Look, got on my leg.
Yeah, like literally, the animals, the farming wood, Beast Wars edition.
Rudy
So,
said hair
yeah.
gun.
For me, I mean, look here. I mean, the 90s were a different time. You know, recreational drugs were rife. You know, designers were able to get away with anything. It was Transformers. No one cared. And now look at us. There's no need. For me, there's no need. I will never get my head around the fact that there's a Transformer or Warthog. And that's the weirdest one for me. I don't even have any words. I was going to try and think about something funny or witty to say. I've got nothing.
I'm going to tell you now, I want one. I think it looks great, and I love the fact that his hairpiece becomes his weapon. I think that's genius, and I think we should all own one. I want Masterpiece. I want Lockies. I want to get on it.
I mean, it's crying out. I don't know why they didn't do a Lion King crossover. It is crying out for a Lion King crossover.
Probably Disney, if we're being honest.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, for me, that is the weirdest one by. It's probably not the weirdest one by fair, but I've never been able to get my head around it. Completely illogical.
Dan Vassetti made a good point there about Heinlad, who is like a raccoon-looking thing, which has actual raccoon. It's got bollocks, basically. Like, is that the alt mode though, Dan, or is that an alt mode, or is that just part of the rope? What even is that? Somebody explain that to me.
There you go.
Explain it. No.
Now.
I forget one.
Right, Andy, come on, take us through your weird alt mode choice for tonight.
Well, we'll all remember this dude.
My eyes out
Now, hang on.
More nice things.
This isn't the alt mode. That's the robot mode. This is, of course, the Transformers Beast Wars Fusors. I think it's Fusors. Correct me, chat, if I'm wrong. Injector. And yeah, I mean, look at it. It's perfectly passable. It's whatever it is. The face is wonderful. Look at that. Look at that. That's the robot mode face, just to be clear.
Ooh.
Can you guess what it turns into? Can you guess? Can you remember? Chat knows. I know chat knows. It turns into whatever that is. So it's some kind of fish thing with like a rhino horn crossed with a hornet. I'm sure there's a description that I've included at the end, so we know exactly what it is. Here's mine, which was gifted to me during the wondrous days of Crap Transformer Corner.
Oh.
He's adorable. Ugly as sin, but adorable. Like some people I know. So I keep him as a reminder at all times that no matter how bad things can get worse. For example, that he has like a spike head thing attack.
It looks like his head's too heavy for his body. He's just fallen.
Really depressed. And if anybody was wondering in size, why I love this picture of him next to Prime. It's just the way he's looking at Prime. I'm like, hang on, why do I look so shit? But you look interesting, Injector, and we love you for it. I don't have the Stinger gun weapon thing that wasn't included in the wondrous package when it was sent to me. So, I'll have to keep an eye out for that one at TFN. And there's his write-up. So there he is, Injector. There's his stats. I mean, they're pretty high. And he turned a lionfish and a half hornet. Anyway,
Intelligence massive, datability low. See what I mean? No, it's just like, can we get away with it? Oh, they love it. Oh, it's going to production. Oh my god, didn't see that coming. There you know.
Find it for a while, and then the next day they were like, "Oh god, they're building it." Anyway, I would also throw in, just randomly because we're supposed to have 5 and there's only 3 of us. I would also throw in a little bit of Perceptor, because a microscope for an 80s toy was, if you really think about it, a brave choice. Like, there weren't a lot of kids I knew that were screaming out for a microscope. But it worked because Perceptor was kind of cool in a nerdy, geeky way. So, it's another one that I do love. And if I'd put more thought into this, I could probably have thought of several other random alt modes we could chuck in there. But I know the chat
Shatter the illusion.
Beast Wars Transtech Escargot. Oh my god, it turns into a snail. What?
Yeah.
Like, why? At what point would a Transformer go, what's a really great alt mode for a snail? Yes. And then just go really... Oh, does he go really fast? Is he like Turbo? Oh, God, I hope he is.
This is why it should just be removed.
What?
Just delete Beast Wars.
Yeah.
No, because people love it. At the end of the day, it's like...
It's like that.
This.
Not Men in Black. It's just like Beast Wars. No.
Ridiculous. But I could see as a kid in the 90s, you'd think this was frigging great fun. So why the hell not? Let them have it. We got the good stuff.
All right, cool. Okay, thanks. Mine's a bit boring now after that, especially the snail. The snail sounds cool. One thing I probably, as a kid, I didn't like too much about Beast Wars was when they turned so organically. What I didn't mind is when they were kind of like metal, like almost like Zoids. And there's a bit of a theme here. So for my one, I chose... Hello! It's Cybershark. No, it's not. It's the other one. Don't tell me... Skybite. That's it. Skybite. They're both sharks, aren't they? So
they are.
Just transformed him, and yeah, I thought that would be a zany choice, and then people are kicking off saying there's a fucking snail transformer.
I mean,
seems
to be fair,
positively mundane.
Fudging.
Surely the Seacons would have been slightly crazier, seeing as they had a shark that had arms and legs. Is that not like taking it a step further? It's almost like you just grabbed something off the shelf, having thought of this.
It is. It's on who's the weirdest? Why not? Optimus Prime? No.
The minimum of effort into preparing people.
I did want to get one from the shelf, so I have. But he does turn into a gun, so it turns into a little gun. He's a shark, and his tail goes around like that, so he could be a helicopter. A helicopter shark. But
Cosmos
what a great
is a
toy.
good show.
And he's just been re-released, hasn't he? Toys R Us had an exclusive video of him, and he took them to TF Minicon. It looks really good. So I chose him.
The new release is meant to be quite good.
Beast Wars 2 Galvatron has a weird phallus dual tank mode. I quite liked the one Jamie, I can't remember what his name is, but the octopus, which has a bike in his head.
Taco
That was
Tank.
quite a good one. Taco Tank,
Taco Tank.
He's cool.
What else was people said? A Cosmos, you see, Cosmos was weird when you think about it. I like the fact they gave an explanation eventually. as to why you had that weird alt mode. But otherwise, it just wouldn't make any sense and looks a bit stupid. Who else had a weird alt mode? There must be lots of them that we just haven't thought of. But if we went through Beast Wars, we'd find hundreds.
Millions. Are we doing Social Corner tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you alright if I play the intro then?
If you must.
I could do without Monday morning, stumbling out of bed and yawning. Didn't get home till 2:45. I could do with a D. I could do without the 9 to 5. Gotta work hard to survive. That's the last time he touches my knee. I could do with a D. I could do without the British weather. Halfway home at the end of my tether, over my feet are killing. I could do with a D.
Probably don't need to play that much.
Ready to share when you are, Captain.
Thank you very much. Oh, nice.
So first up this week, Toy Box Soapbox with his Blocky's versions of a cosmic powered Starscream, and the other Blocky's characters, I think, a mixture of the classic line and the Galaxy version. He's an exceptional photographer. There's no getting away from it, and he's done a great job with those guys. Saw this earlier. Obviously, Tarn was a massive in IDW. He was a Decepticon through and through. You're not a huge Megatron fan. This is a huge Megatron fan, and they've actually got a huge Megatron fan holding a big Megatron fan. It's amazing, isn't it?
Banter.
Fan Bants.
Fan Vance.
The pinnacle.
Yeah.
Canterbury.
Canterbury. Beautiful. 2009 Grimlock in the background, or is it Age of Extinction? Oh, no, it's Age of Extinction. Yeah, Age of Extinction. Prime and Grimlock, exceptional photo.
Yeah,
and it had 1,200 views when I looked at it last time. It'll have more than that now. Exceptional photo. Autobot Dawson does a lot of good stuff. By the way, any of these people, if you want to check them out on Blue Sky or Twitter, their taglines are on top. They do some cool stuff, picture wise, so check them out and perhaps give them a follow if you like what they are producing. Friend of the show, Paul Duggan, draped in tapes, more robot bants.
I love his
Look at these.
They're just everything. I always end up zooming in on them and spending ages looking at them.
I feel like
he actually lives in a mansion. Yeah, he actually lives in a mansion.
Oh.
He's got about 35 bedrooms to display all of his encore Transformers that he has.
It's true, I've heard he's got 40 children.
Yeah, he has.
Is it an orphanage rather than that?
yeah. And they all sleep in one room so he can display his Transformers.
Wonderful stuff.
Dom on Blue Sky, that scamp Starscream has got his way into his computer, trashing it.
Sexy computer.
Yeah, big time. And then got that blocky bastard Starscream there, causing chaos. That's the first time I've used that. I actually think I might keep that one. Yeah, and that was Social Corners this week. That was Social Corners, and nice to see some fresh faces in there.
Yeah, lovely job, Lee. Let's move on to discussion.
We now return to the Transformers.
We're on PV pace here, fellas.
What's going on?
I need to sort this out. But my funniest one, on StreamYard, you have preset things. So I was mucking about with the other day so I could do this, which made sense at the time, won't make sense now. That's the normal one. This is the funniest one. Hiya!
It's like with the Brady Bunch.
really
In the
shit
darkness.
Brady Bunch.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, we'll go back to normal. We thought we'd just have a chat tonight about what got us into collecting Transformers, what got us maybe back into collecting, and how that stories evolved over the years. Love to hear from both of you. Love to hear in the chat how you got into Transformers. Probably not the first time. Get it? We were into it as kids. More the second time round. Pete, go on, tell us. Sit back, tell us the story. Spin us a yarn of how you ended up collecting pretty much everything from your childhood.
So really random, and it probably led into a story as to why you shouldn't abuse a laser printer. So around the time I don't know, eBay must have launched, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could pick up some like Transformer stuff? And I didn't really get any toys because I was too old for that. I was too cool. But I loved the comics as a kid. Yeah, I'm not cool now, am I? I was cool back then. I'm not now.
Cool to me.
And I found that somebody was selling some CDs where they'd scanned the comics onto, like CD-ROMs. So I was like, oh, so what if I bought them and then started printing them off? Then it'd be like I had the comics. Well, that went horrifically wrong, didn't it? Because I printed out half of one comic, rinsed the printer. It was completely different format or everything. So I was like, okay, right, we need another plan. And that was around the time where I went to, I think, Transforce back in 2001. And when they first started doing the hardback graphic novels and reprints of the G1 Marvel Comics and stuff. And then I went and lived another life. And when I came back, it was the written media that was getting me back into it. And it was only when I really went to my first auto assembly, which was in 2012, maybe 2013, that I started getting toys again. And it was all, I was just playing on eBay and going, oh, have they got this? Have they got this? And it was me thinking I was being clever by buying CD-ROMs of Transformer comics that was getting me back into Transformers. Now look at me.
It's the most 90s thing I've ever heard, collecting
Yeah.
CD-ROMs, buying them, and printing them. But I remember doing similar. When you first got on the internet, you first realised you could find online. It was amazing. Martin said, Transformers show got him back into collecting, never looked back. Oh, that is the nicest thing I think anyone's ever said.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Brandon.
Unless you're blaming us. If you're blaming us, you're just weak-minded, Martin.
Legally, we accept no responsibility for any costs being incurred during this time. Oh my god, Brandon!
Yeah.
Seriously.
Godsey said he had GoBots and SO Racers. I remember the SO Racers. But they got him into transforming robot toys. Siege, Skytread got me back into collecting December 2019. Nice. Jermaine said, when I started adding alcohol into, where's this going? In my brother's Mr. Frosty, my dad forced me to start collecting something with he was born. True? Maybe.
Jermaine, I feel we need to discuss that story more in person at TFUKCon, or wherever you may be attending.
Yes, with a Mr. Frosty and with some alcohol.
Bring Mr. Frosty.
Bring it with you. We'll just rack him up on the table, Mr. Frosty. See how much tequila rosy we can put in before it just turns to slush. Mick said a bad appendix op nearly killed him. Fucking hell, Mick. Couldn't wait train back to gym chat. So during recovery, started watching the G1 cartoon again and brought the Last Stand of Records. How good was that? There's kind of bit when you get back into collecting, isn't it? You get sort of like high points along the way. And I remember getting into the Last Stand of Records was probably the first new content I read. Wow, fuck. There's really good new content as well as the toys. Andy, how did you get back into the world collecting and Transformers?
We've been over this before. So, like early 2000s, and I was living in Leeds, And the very first thing that probably started to get me back into collecting Transformers was seeing. I can't remember if it was the Dreamwave comic first or if it was the classic or commemorative reissues. And I saw Skywarp. I remember buying that one just on a whim and thinking, I've just bought a child's toy, but it's a child's toy from my childhood, so it's fine. But I didn't really start collecting. The Dreamwave comics I did start picking up. So I just remember seeing the cover for one of the Dreamwave comics. I can't even remember which one it was now, but just thinking, wow, just like it looked incredible. And it looked like how I would have wanted my G1 Transformers comics to look, and then buying several issues of that. And then it built up to a point where I was offered the opportunity to be purchased a gift as a thank you for a favour I'd done. And the gift I chose was to go to Toys R Us and buy a Transformer. And the Transformers that I bought or had bought for me was this set, which I have discussed before on the show, so I'm not going to go on about it again. But that kind of was the gateway then. But it wasn't. The door wasn't fully open. It was just slightly ajar, and I had my toe in. Name of your sex tape. And then,
Good one.
then what really kicked the door open properly was when I got together with my now wife Claire, and it was her who said, I got a phone call from my mum saying to me, we're clearing out the attic. We found some bin bags full of what seemed to be your old toys from the 80s. What do you want us to do with them? So I was immediately like, well, you're not throwing them. I'll come up and I said to Claire before I went up there, I don't know what to really do with them. And she said, well, we've got a spare room at the moment. Why don't you turn that into a display room? Because she knew I had the other stuff I'd picked up. So that's what I did. I went up my hometown, collected these bin bags full with my boxed G1 Transformers in, brought them back down to Leeds, stuck them on some cheap display shelves I got from IKEA. And that was the beginning of it then. And then kind of in the years just before that, I'd started kind of like becoming part of the forums. TFW 2005 was particularly like one I was on at the time, and Cybertron.com.
Crankcase 79,
Yeah, I've always, because I went for Double Dealer and they were all taken. And then I tried Crankcase because Crankcase was another little Transformer I'd had as a kid. And that it came up with Crankcase 79, which is the year of my birth. So I went, yes, that'll do. And a legend was born. No, not really. But yeah, and that was it. And then once you're in, like the online community, I was only on the fringes of it. And like I was looking in from the outside and an interested observer. I occasionally kind of posted, obviously, in the forums and stuff like that. Then I discovered TFUK on Facebook. Can't remember. Luke or Gav, if they were watching, would tell us what year that was when it got set up. And then, yeah, you used to start chatting to people like, you know, like you, Paul, and JB. And then the next thing you know, you're at TFN and you're sat drinking with those same people you've only chatted to online. And then, yeah, and it goes on from there. But yeah, I've met loads of people while collecting. You meet people in the most random places. I've talked about Dave Barrow, who I got to know. I walked into my local Asda and he was the security guard, and I had a Transformers t-shirt on. He stopped me and talked to me, and you just get chatting. And every time I went in there, we'd stop and have a chat, and you find out then that he's not only a Transformers fan, but he had a massive G1 collection because he'd been buying them all up when eBay first happened for not pennies, but not a lot of money, buying in American collections and stuff. And you just start meeting people. Luke and Monks of Luke and Steez. I met him. This is before like all of the Primetime Toy stuff. Yeah, you just start to get to know people. Can't remember if I'm sure I've met Chris Haig. What was his name on the forums? Anyway, you just start to meet all these people online and sometimes in person, and yeah. It's just that was it. Once you're in, it's very hard to get back out again. It's name of your sex tape. But yeah,
buy it tonight. Name of your sex tape.
Hey, Ian's in.
Hey,
Here he is. What was
Go
the other website? The Transformers.net? Was that the other one?
Yeah, there was Transformers.net. There's
Yeah.
T-Formers. Was it
There's so many good ones
Moon?
back.
Was it Transformers at the Moon? That was another one. Unicron.com. I used to love going on Unicron.com and looking at the photos of the toys that I'd never owned. But that's where like you start. I was like such a G1 guy, but then you start seeing the other stuff. And when I had, obviously, I've got like my son Liam, and he gets into Transformers around that Unicron trilogy time. We've said it before. I'll say it again. Car boots at that time were just such fantastic things to go to and just go and pick up. Like you get like a boxed Armada Unicron for a tenner, complete. He's just like I just bought all this stuff for Liam, and Liam, he had this his own Transformers collection.
yeah.
Well, do you know what? They became mine because when he got out Transformers, he just said you could have them, and I sold most of them on. And it was only like 5, 6, 7 years later that I kind of went, oh, I actually want them.
Why?
Well, he wanted money for wrestling figures and stuff like that, so it was like, oh, we'll sell this, and then you can buy your own. But yeah, that's basically in a nutshell. Once you get into you lads know, once you get into the door, I find it more interesting the stories of people who've been into collecting, left again, like sold up everything, and then come back to it. And like hearing some of their stories, you've got the ones who absolutely massively regret selling up everything in the first place, but you also have the ones who really enjoy getting to collect it again, and it's like reliving it again and kind of hunting down those Transformers and those bots. I'd love to look at when you capture that feeling again of finding like a vintage bot or something that you had as a child. It's just amazing. Yeah,
And I got
or pink blockies, for example.
Oh,
but
that was an amazing.
But that
thing.
is it. Like, so this isn't my original one of this. The original one of this, as I've discussed on the show, I gave to Liam, and he opened it and played with them. And I still have the figures of this because they were his, so I didn't want to get rid of them. But I wanted a boxed one again because I kept this boxed for about 2 years before I gave them to him. And now I have, and I can't explain why this means so much to me, but it just does. It just does. It's weird. Even I think it's weird, but it does. So that's life, and we get on with it.
I'm never opening it.
I'm not. And then on my deathbed, one of my children will just go, or my great grandchildren will just go, "Oh, what's this?" Rip. No. That'll be that. Done in.
What about you, Captain?
For me, it was so. I think a big bit of it, why it's so nice collecting, is because it's such a huge part. And I get that there's people that are into it now as adults, and that's absolutely fine. But it was such a huge bit of my childhood. It was my constant as a kid. It was the toy that I loved growing up. Always thought about it. I remember going to school, like it must be about 14, 15. I hadn't thought about Transformers for about 3 years. And I went to an all-boys school, so you could kind of be a bit geeky. You didn't have to do your hair or anything. There was no girls about to impress at the time. So we would proper geek out, even like the coolest kids in the class, which I wasn't one of them, but would geek out with you. And it was cool. And I remember one day in our class, Dave, one of the boys, just saying, I've got Scorpion. We were chatting about Transformers. He said, I'm going to bring it in tomorrow. And we were like, let's all go and get all our G1 toys, put them in our bags tomorrow. We'll go up onto the roof, because you climb up onto the roof of the school, and we'll just sit there and get them all out and have a look at it. And like everyone's like half laughing, going, "We actually going to do it all right?" And the next day, everyone just brought them in. We went onto the roof, got all the G1 toys out. I remember looking at Scorpion going, and that was kind of just before the internet, or just when the internet was coming alive. So you didn't really I'd never held a Scorpion in my hand before. I'd only seen them on the little pamphlets you got with Transformers. So I was like, oh fuck, this is amazing. And I remember Skull Cruncher looking at that. It was just really cool. I remember Collins fucking ran off with my Metroplex because boys are bastards, but he gave it back. But yeah, it was just weird. It's just a weird spike, and it's just, you have your kid bit, you have the bit where you're a teenage years, you're growing up, you're trying to act cool and stuff. But that was a weird spike in it. And then when I moved out, my parents, I remember it must have been about 2008. When you first sort of get to a stage in your life where you have some disposable income, which isn't all wrapped up in like rent and paying bills, you have a little bit left over at the end of the month. It's been like, oh, that's weird. I can do something with this. Don't have to spend it all at the pub. And I remember just sitting there on eBay, just going, what do I want? Like just tapping in random. And I thought, I'd look for some box Transformers to see if I can get. And they were like £100 at the time, which was a lot to me. I remember looking at them. I remember ordering Sunstorm Masterpiece. I can't remember if it was the same time. I think that came second. The first bit was Tesco's or Asda with some friends. I was half cut. We were on a night out, and they had, I think it was 2007 Starscream from the movie. I was like, I'm just going to get that. And they kind of like had to laugh at me. And I said, fuck off. Got it home, opened it up. And I was like, it's a Transformer. I've got a Transformer. It's so cool. Transformed him back. Went on eBay, got Sunstorm, the Masterpiece. I was like, God, that's a complicated transformation. But I couldn't believe it. Like when I saw the photos in my head, because I hadn't been on the journey that collectors had been, I could not believe that this could transform from that alt mode to that robot mode. When I saw the pictures, and I thought it's got something. It can't be right, but it was. I got it, transformed it, and I was like, cool. Hard Panther, mad, no instructions, and that was it. And so I got that. I was always into collecting video games, I still am. So I was collecting them at the same time. When it probably really took off was in Combiner Wars, and I got my son, like Liam, all of Bruticus. And I was like, here you go, you have Bruticus. He was like 2 or 3. You can even play with him.
Daddy will look after it.
Yeah. But we just played with them together and just loved it. And I remember opening them up and thinking, the same Brawl to this day I still love. Put them all together, and yeah, that was it. And then I bought everything, just went proper in on the Mainline. And then because my passion started exploding, namely your sex tape, like my probably collecting of video games probably took a bit of a step backwards whilst I explored the Transformers and built. You can probably remember my display, Andy. It was like it was in this. Ended up in this room. It was all boxed. Combiner Wars and Prime Wars trilogy.
Lovely stuff.
But yeah, and as you said, Andy, the best bit by far, which probably keeps you more addicted than anything, is just the people you meet, because you talk about it and you. It's not that you want to have things to talk about. I never feel like that. I buy things because I want to buy them, but there's an added bit of excitement. Like, I can't wait to say, like, chat about, like, even after this, I can't wait to talk to you two about Studio 86. I know you've both got him, and it's just a good. It adds another layer to it that you don't get probably. You wouldn't expect a social layer on this, and you get a bloody good one in the Transformers community.
I have remembered something. Sorry, just
no. You can't carry on.
Before probably even the Dreamwave stuff, I think somebody will be able to correct me on dates and stuff. The first thing I bought was summer 2001 ish. And I bought on eBay. It was you talking about eBay.
Yeah.
First ever eBay purchase was a copy of Transformers the movie on VHS, and
really?
I had never owned it in my life. Didn't own one as a kid, and I bought that. And my mum tells this story, although she doesn't remember it now because she's old. But she told me the story of how I went home. The weekend it had arrived, or the week it arrived, I went home that weekend and I went on a night out with my mates back in my hometown. May have had a few shandies, just the 1 or 2, social drinking, responsible. Anyway, about 1 a.m, I roll back home, and my mum was still up, because my mum was always that way, that she'd wait up till we got in and whatever. And I got in, may have been a bit steaming, drunk, and went in, and my mum offered to make me something to eat before I went to bed, and I said, yeah, that'll be great. And I went into the living room, and I remembered I had the video with me. I brought it with me up to Richmond, and I put it in the VHS player, my mum and dad's VHS, and I sat and I watched the whole thing from start to finish before I went to bed that night. And my mum said she walked in the room with whatever food she'd made me, and she just looked at me. She said I had a look on my face like I did when I was a kid. That may have been the alcohol as well, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Never, couldn't even see.
No, I don't remember it. No, but that was probably the first tentative steps, and I'd literally forgotten about that until until this conversation, and then it's something like you saying about eBay. Went, oh my god, I remember getting.
Yeah, it's funny
was
you
the
saying
movie.
about that reminds me of because the 1986 movie's been on YouTube pretty much consistently for the last sort of 20 years or 15 years. I remember during the 2000s, like I would often stick it on YouTube, just watch the whole thing after a night out.
I wish somebody had told me that. I wouldn't have thought that. No, I'm joking. I've been very lucky to have then been gifted, like RJ gifted me an original 80s copy, because the one I bought on eBay was like a more modern release. The cover wasn't the same as like that classic movie poster that we got in the UK. But yeah. And I don't have that videotape. That videotape that I bought off eBay and watched when my son Liam's friend was getting into Transformers. He didn't have any like access to Transformers media really, so I let Liam give him my Transformers the movie tape. And this is the worst one, and I'll never understand why I did this. I let him give him my copy of the Rebirth, because by that point I had it on DVD, so I didn't need it on tape, and I regret that massively, because that was my copy of the Rebirth. I was trying to be
out of the will.
Me or Liam.
That was going to be my next
what?
question.
Go on.
Sorry, mate. Go on. No, I was going to say
go
my next question, and the pair of you have answered it, and I said the same, was what keeps you in it? Like now, after all of the various iterations and the different versions of characters and the different comics and series and everything, why are we still here now in terms of still collecting and still enjoying it?
I think there's so many layers to it. There's the genuine excitement of like, it's a fucking fantastic toy. Like Transformers is so popular for a reason. You get something which is almost like a puzzle, and I never think of it as a puzzle, because I always think of my head like the cartoon. It's something which can change from a robot into some sort of other mode, and that is just fucking cool. And when you get like all week, I've been excited for this absolute beast to come in, and there's no nostalgia in this, because there wasn't anything like this when I was a kid, and there's obviously Optimus Prime is a loose character as such, and the way it transforms. But it's the actual because it's a transform from this amazing rocket launcher to a robot. That's just fucking brilliant. And when you tie that up with other people who are into it, and you can chat about it, and you get the social side, I think that's what keeps me into it. Also have to do a show every Friday and spend 2 hours of my life talking about it. So I don't really have a choice.
I mean,
I
love it.
I love doing the show.
It might not be tonight. I do think, like you said, it's like the opportunity to talk to others. Like the first time you go to a TFN, if you've not been to a TFN, if somebody's watching, and the first time you get to talk to people you don't know, but the thing that you can bond over is transforming toys, or your love of a character, or your love of a particular toy, on whatever it is, and like helping out Moff with Primetime Toys, you get to see that, like talking to people who are so passionate about whichever toy they're buying or whichever character it is. That's, it's really cool. It's just a weird experience of bonding with people, especially people that you wouldn't never talk to probably. Like, then they would never talk to you, but then you have this thing and that's it, and you end up making like friends with people, and that's cool that you get to, especially for people who we know, there are some in our community who are more socially anxious. It's like that's the doorway to then chat to people and get that going, which is wonderful, really.
And just that they're nice people, like genuinely everyone looks after each other, don't they? Because I think everyone recognises that social anxiety, and so
there's very few idiots in our community, at least from my experience. It's the vast majority of people are good people.
You find a similar situation with work, don't you? You get thrust into this environment because you work for the same company, and you might not ordinarily be friends with these people or interact with these people, but through the common denominator, which is work, you spend a lot of time with people and you build bonds. And I always think Transformers is the same thing. It's everyone congregates at TFUKCon or TFN with that common interest of liking Transformers. And you'll gel with some people and you won't gel with the next, but you'll say hello because the common interest would always be Transformers, and everyone's got their lives outside of it and stuff. But I think the thing that's always been quite, I don't know if the right word is romantic for me, but it's you go to somewhere like TFN and it's such a level playing field for everybody in terms of that conversation starter and that you don't need to talk about what you do for a living or where you live and all the rest of it. You've bought this book or someone else has bought it or you're gonna buy something or you engage from being on the show and stuff. And I think it's just a lovely part that, because a lot of us we are advancing a little bit in years, and I don't work with anyone that collects Transformers. I don't know anyone on my street that collects Transformers. I don't know anybody in my surrounding town and stuff. But to be, I think, have that interest and be able to share that interest with other people, I think, like Paul said earlier, it almost kind of then reinvests it and it compounds it, and you go again and you reinvest it because it's the new toy line or the new comic. And I think it just continues to put fuel on the fire. I can't ever imagine not collecting. I know people go out and come back in and stuff like that, but the genuine, I don't know if it's healthy or not, but the thought of getting rid of it all brings me out in a freaking, no, I'm not. Yeah, I couldn't.
No, I agree with that. I can't see a time when I don't have the collection. It would have to take something truly dramatic for me to get rid of it all.
Yeah,
and hopefully that wouldn't happen. But
no.
Like talking about people you meet, you work, didn't you?
Getting the hair done or something. Yeah,
yeah. Get the weave in. You're talking about work. The thing with work friends is, like you said, you're in the similar situation because you're with people you wouldn't normally talk to. So you kind of. But then, I think there's more people that I've met through the Transformers community that I would stay in contact with, even if I wasn't doing this show, than probably people I've worked with in the past, because it's amazing how you get along so well. Like, I've had people who were like, practically, we were like best mates, and then when you're not working together anymore and you've gone your separate ways, just kind of, you still hear from them, of course, but it just drifts away a little bit, and they become those friends you hear from time to time. And like, I think Sam's Former said it in the chat, like, there's people now that I talk to far, far more than my friends who literally live around me where I am here, because this is where I grew up. And it's just like, I don't know, it's a massive part of what collecting is. It's not just about the toys. Did you catch that? Because I think my internet was breaking up.
Yeah.
So we know that the community and meeting some great people and being able to share even the good and the bad stuff with them is the best bit for us. Probably, it's fair to say. What's the worst bit about collecting for us?
Too expensive, not enough space. End of a conversation. Let's move on.
I don't know. It's never a chore. Like, I generally
not being able
like,
to be anonymous.
it never feels like.
Sorry, that's a joke.
I never feel like, oh fuck, I need to TF. I always look forward to tonight. Like, you would think 269 episodes we're up to, so that's pretty much 269 times I've sat down on a Friday and spoke for 2 hours about Transformers. Like, I mean, you say it like that, it's absolutely crazy. I've never been bored. I still look forward to the show. I still get excited about sitting down. I never think, oh fuck, I wish we could. Never once do I think, fuck, I wish we could talk about something else other than Transformers. I'm always happy to talk about Transformers. I think because
he just said what I was thinking. Sorry.
I appreciate that people tolerate me.
No, further down.
Oh, sorry. 269. Yeah, I know. I was going to say that in the show notes, and I thought I need to try and be mature.
So mature.
Budget.
Too many toys, too much money with not enough money and space.
Yeah.
Sense of spies that you immediately regret a couple of times. Yeah. Worst bit, too expensive, not enough space in the room. Third, paying customs tariffs.
Yeah, we do take that for granted in the UK.
This must be a new viewer, Emma. She's saying, is it buying things you said you wouldn't buy and having to pay more for them? It's a good point.
Do you know what the worst bit about collecting is? Getting mugged off live on the internet. That's the worst bit.
The worst bit is knowing this transfer toy is basically the same size as me. Too wholesome, Jane. There'll be a scrap at TFUK Con. God, is there a worse bit? I think in any aspect of life, you're going to bump into people, aren't you, and have negative interactions. I think the Transformers community as a whole, your chances of that happening are a lot lower than they are in most communities. I've just found, like, just people seem a bit more chilled and a bit more relaxed. Gatekeeping, yeah. Gatekeeping, we see that, especially more online if they're anonymous. Fear of missing out. It was a bit stressful getting that pink Optimus Prime.
I think that's the biggest thing I struggle with. That's the biggest thing because no, that bit I'm comfortable with. It's the fun bit. But it fits in really nicely with what Guzzy's just put there. Is late to the party because it's the fear of missing out. Because if you don't, and picking that up on the second-hand market, you end up and it. For me, it sucks some of the fun out of it. I could have bought it for 30 quid, and I've ended up paying 60. And there's only one person to blame, so that sucks even more.
But that's not always the case. I think we need to look at that as well, because like the reality is, like we've discussed this before, there's things that people just can't afford, especially in this day and age, can't afford to be buying everything. And there's so much product coming out now that because as a collector, you so want that toy or that character because you love them, but then you miss out on it. Yeah, I mean, I think it can be a negative to it. I mean, it's wonderful when you finally get it. That's what a great feeling that is, that feeling of achievement. But then I also think you then get into that feeling of, right, what's next? And then you just on to the next one. So it's nice. My one word of advice I'd have is every now and again, go back to your collection and just mess around with some of your old bots. Mess around with the stuff that you haven't touched for a while, because you might actually find that love for it. And I've been doing a lot of that with bits of my collection at the moment. And then finding myself not as bothered about some of the newer stuff that's coming out. Except the aerial bots. They're great.
Right. Should we draw it to a close then? Anything else?
We've hit the 1 hour 22 minute mark. That's the magic.
Not just me, Andy.
My favourite bit is when we're doing shots. And even though I don't like
no,
shots, and Andy are always big on shots.
I'll tell you what, you were definitely big on shots at Minicon.
Yeah, you were very insistent. Next time we get together, TFUK Con is rapidly approaching. A month. A month and a...
I think we should discuss this.
A month today. Well, yeah, we probably should discuss it.
I mean, we definitely should discuss it, as we were supposed to be doing.
So we're doing something on the Friday night, which will be a Transformers show live from TFUK Con. You're welcome to join in. So the Friday night of TFUK Con, we will be there.
When he says join in, you can come and watch it. He doesn't mean come and get on stage.
If you want to give it a go, swap places with me. That's
no one's showing us up.
Like, we'll sit down,
if that's all right.
Else can
they'll probably do a better job.
Entertain us. That'd be a great idea. Everybody who turns up has to entertain us three. We just sit there.
20 people on the stage, and just us four.
But it's probably fair to say that if you have bought a ticket to TFUK Con, there is a gathering of sorts on the Friday night, and we are doing a show. So look, if you're coming up, make a weekend of it, or coming down or coming across. We'll be there on a Friday night.
Transformers, the show actually live, like as if
live,
actually unscripted.
Apparently probably about this length. If we're lucky.
So favourite comments from tonight. Guzzy, Optimus is 40 now. Some bits are a bit expected to be floppy. We said the Brady Bunch. Simon said the Shady Bunch.
Scandalous.
Mumble Jumper said the best parts of collecting were the friends we made on the way, and he almost made me cry. Love you, Ed. Here's Lily said, I'm still in the community. Great Friday nights that we get to have. It is every Friday. I love it. My budget is 50-50 between toys and Love Honey. That's from Toy Slice. I won't give you your actual name. I know your actual name, but I won't say it on the internet. I had watching the Wags get along so well warms Primetime Off's heart so much. It gives my wife such a
Thank God they
positive
don't
part of
hate
the
each other.
community. That is
Imagine that.
new viewer Emma Andrews. She said, "Pete, is it buying things that you said you wouldn't buy?"
Why are you
and then
doing
have
it
to
with
pay for them more?
friends?
I see where this is going, Pete. I see where this is going. I wonder
Uh,
oh, look, what a
Final
shot!
shots. We will do 10 shots, 10 bots at Minicon. Yes, we will.
No.
One shot per piece. Bloody hell, you'd be ruined. Cool. That's it from us. Thank you so much for watching. Really enjoyed the show. We'll be back next Friday. I won't be here because I'm away for 2 weeks on holiday. But
I'm not here either.
Andy's not here either.
I'm away as well, so not with
It'll
Paul.
just be Pete.
It's just me and Paul. We're going away.
Jamie will be back, I'm sure. So we'll find you someone. We'll find you someone to talk about Transformers.
Is anybody free next Friday?
The Willis monologues, chapter 1.
The early years.
My first period.
Puberty. And on that bombshell, we better end it.
Bye.